Good afternoon, viewers. Our guest for today is an inspiring personality whose journey blends leadership, global exposure, and storytelling. He's had an incredible career, starting from serving as the Secretary General of Indian JCs, now known as JCI India, to working with some of the most reputed publications like Time, Fortune, and The Economist. He also held leadership roles such as Director General and CEO of Indian Brazil Chamber of Commerce and is also associated with the Press Club of India. But what makes his journey more special is his work as an author. The Monk Returns, and The Game Changer Monks. His books have inspired countless readers and have gained worldwide recognition. Beyond his professional achievements, he is a traveler, wildlife enthusiast, and a person who truly celebrates life. Viewers, let us welcome a leader, thinker, and a storyteller. Welcome to the show, Akshayji.
Thank you.
So, आपकी journey has been that of a leader, storyteller, secretary general. So, can you describe about your journey in brief?
It has been a highly gratifying and an
Right.
amply rewarding journey so far.
Okay.
As the popular song of the Bollywood classic Mughal-e-Azam goes,
Right. Right.
अब इससे ज्यादा और हंसी इस रात का मौसम क्या होगा, इस रंग में कोई जी ले अगर मरने का उसे गम क्या होगा.
So, अपनी जर्नी के बारे में थोड़ा और बताइए, प्लीज.
Let me tell you about my early days as the Secretary General of Indian JCs.
Right.
In the early 80s, India was facing severe foreign exchange crisis.
Mm-hmm.
Now, JCs International has its headquarters in USA.
Okay.
It's the international body.
Mm-hmm.
And member nations, that is Indian JC, or JCI India, JCI Japan, JCI Singapore, JCI UK, JCI France, whatever, are affiliated to JCI.
Okay.
And for that, they have to pay a certain subscription fee every year based on the number of members each nation has.
Right.
India at that time had something like 40,000 members.
Right.
Now, because of this foreign exchange crisis, Reserve Bank of India withdrew the permission to remit dollars to JCI.
Okay.
As a result, JCI started threatening Indian JCs that IJC would be disaffiliated. Now, the then national president, the immediate past national president, and I got together, cracked our brains, and said how to overcome this problem.
Okay.
I went and met one Mr. Verma, Joint Secretary in the Planning Commission. Sorry. He said the only person who could help me was the then Prime Minister.
Right.
So I went and met Mrs. Indira Gandhi. She was quite empathetic. She understood the problem, but said that, look, we also have a genuine situation here.
Okay.
We are facing financial foreign exchange crisis. She said she will try and have a word with the Reserve Bank governor and see if some solution could be found out.
Okay.
And after a few years, RBI resolved the matter.
Okay.
To everybody's satisfaction.
Okay.
There was another problem also which we were facing. Every month we used to publish a magazine, House Journal, which was circulated among all the 40,000 members.
Okay.
Now, one staff member in the dispatch section was hand in glove with some postal staff.
Okay.
And they used to dispatch only 50% of the copies.
Okay.
And pocket the money of the balance 50%.
Achha.
We used to get complaints from members of non-receipt of the magazine. Somehow we found out who was the culprit. Of course, we sacked the staff member. But then the rot had set in the post office. They had tasted blood.
Okay.
So I went and met the then communications minister, Mr. C.N. Stephen, and told him that, look, this is a problem we are facing. 2 days later, the Postmaster General of India visited my office. And then we arrived at the solution to this problem.
Okay.
And of course, we also suspended those involved in this racket.
Okay. Right. So, during this period, when you served as a Secretary General of India, what was the most defining period you had? The defining moment, कुछ ऐसा जो आप बताना चाहेंगे?
Yeah, these two instances, in fact, a few months after I joined,
Okay.
the 1979 World President Kumar Gera wrote to me.
Okay.
I quote, I wanted to congratulate you soon after you took over as the Secretary General.
Okay.
But I decided to instead wait and watch your performance.
Mm-hmm.
Undoubtedly, you seem to be going great guns.
Mm.
I am sure you will realize your role in shaping this movement further.
Okay.
Of course, I shared this letter with entire staff in the office.
Okay.
And said this has been possible because of you.
That's nice. So after this, I believe you served as in the global publications like Time, Fortune, Economist. So how did those like working with those publications? How did it change your worldview about the publications, and which was the best according to you?
See, I had opportunities to interact with all the publishers.
Okay.
Sorry.
No
They
worries.
used to come from New York or Hong Kong or Singapore.
Mm-hmm.
And it gave me an insight into the way they function, various cultures.
Right.
Besides, they provided me data which would help me in selling
Mm-hmm.
publication.
Okay.
And that data also gave a lot of input, which helped me understanding the world view.
Okay. Right. So, आपकी पूरी journey में who's been the biggest supporter in your life?
Oh, my wife, Jaina.
Okay, okay.
She is no more. She passed away in September 23 after
Oh,
battling cancer for 30 months.
Oh, acha.
But she always stood by me as a rock through my thick and thin. And in fact, I am sitting here today in front of you because of her.
Right. Okay, okay. So she's like, I mean, really, she has been the biggest support.
Of course, anytime.
Right, right. So, एक बात बताइए, like you've traveled, you're a wildlife enthusiast and traveler, and you've traveled all over the world, I think, a lot of countries. So, biggest lessons you've learned, like working across different cultures and countries?
Thomas Hardy's book, I Am Okay, You Are Okay.
Right.
And Dale Carnegie's book, How to Influence People and Make Friends. Or How to Make Friends and Influence People.
Right, right.
I have read these books quite early in life.
Okay, okay.
And these travels helped me interact with so many people.
Okay, okay.
It actually was quite beneficial in understanding human relations and transactional analysis.
Okay, okay.
So that's how I could manage to understand so many cultures, interact with so many people.
Right. Okay. So, you started writing your first book, The Monk. What inspired you to write it?
Let me tell you about my writing journey.
Yeah.
It commenced quite early in life.
Okay.
I was 13 when I lost my grandpa in October 1966.
Okay.
I wrote an obituary. And a couple of my dad's acquaintances visited us to offer their condolences. They read the piece and complimented me, said, very well written, keep writing.
Okay.
On 25th July 1969, Neil Armstrong landed on the moon. I was in first year science in Wilson College, Bombay that time.
Okay.
I wrote a 2-page article Man Conquers the Moon. And this was displayed on the college notice board for over 2 months.
Wow.
One day I was admiring my own work, and 5, 6 girls of inter arts surrounded me.
Acha.
I thought, Akshay, be prepared for ragging. On the contrary, they produced their notebooks.
Okay.
And said, how about your autograph?
Nice.
Now, my wife Jaina was aware of this. I had told her.
Okay.
So she would keep telling me every now and then, likhna shuru kar, likhna shuru kar. But somehow, business, family, social commitments prevented me from pursuing my passion.
Okay.
About 16 years ago, I had come home after a hectic day.
Okay.
By the Mumbai Lifeline from Chhatgir to Borivali.
Acha.
Had my cup of coffee, showered, and then sat down to note the day's accounts in my diary. Unknown to me, Jaina had fixed a large one of Old Monk, added the exact quantity of ice and water as I required.
Okay.
And placed the glass in front of me along with a bowl of peanuts. And also a sheaf of blank papers and a pen.
Okay.
Then she had said, enjoy your drink, but also start writing because you can. And I started writing. But the first manuscript, which was on love and romance, was rejected outright by hundreds of literary agents across the world. It came back with remarks that, look, this is not the way it is written. I was seized of the matter, that on what subject should I write? And then sometime in the end of June 2012, there was a terror attack somewhere in India.
Okay.
On July 7th morning, when I got up at around 5, it was a eureka moment. I said, why not on terrorism?
Okay.
And started writing. 30th November, the entire 70,000 word manuscript was ready.
Wow.
And Jaina used to review my work after every chapter or so.
Okay.
In the end, she says, when she read the end, she says, this is not correct. Because the protagonist has killed so many innocent people also.
Okay.
In the process of uprooting the menace of terrorism, so many innocents have died. So there's no remorse, nothing of that sort for him.
Okay.
Send him to the Himalayas as a penance. And the title of the book should be The Monk.
Okay. Spouses are actually the best critics.
Sorry?
I'm saying spouses are the best critics. They will actually tell you where you've gone wrong, where you can improve, where you can write very well. They are the best.
Yeah. She herself used to write in Gujarati, used to contribute to a Gujarati newspaper.
Acha. Right. Okay, so that's how The Monk came into being.
Yeah, that's right.
And obviously, it must have been a great success. So how did the success of that book change your life as an author?
A year later, I received, this was published in June 2016.
Okay.
A year later, I got the lead Oscar for Best Book.
Okay.
Then I got an offer from Croatia.
Okay.
The government of Croatia had sponsored it. The translation of the book in Croatian language.
Okay.
So I was, of course, thrilled that, wow. And then over here, the kind of reviews I was getting for the book.
Okay.
So in 2018, sometime I told my principal in Delhi, I said, look, I'm not going to work any further.
Okay.
Because I want to become a full-fledged writer.
Right.
And then the sequel, The Monk Returns, came out in March 2021.
Okay.
In Jan 22, I was declared as one of the iconic authors of the year.
Wow, that's nice.
So there was no looking back, so to say.
Right.
And then the game changer Monk has come.
Mm-hmm.
I have got 9 awards so far.
Wow.
It is translated into 10 different languages, foreign and Indian.
That is very
And
nice. Yeah, because people want to read in their regional languages.
yeah,
They are
Arabic,
comfortable, right?
Bengali, it
Yeah,
translates into Arabic, Bengali, Chinese,
right,
French,
right.
Gujarati, Hindi,
Mm-hmm.
Malayalam, Marathi, Portuguese,
Okay.
and Tamil.
Mm-hmm.
And the foreign languages are already out.
Okay.
Bengali and Gujarati are currently under print.
Okay.
The other
Okay.
languages would follow.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So tell me something, like what message do you hope the readers can take away from the Game Changer Monk?
Sorry?
What message readers take away from the Game Changer Monk? I mean, it is really widely accepted and it has influenced a lot of readers. So what message can they take away?
The reviews that I've seen so far on
Right.
Amazon,
Mm-hmm.
all of them unequivocally are
Okay.
saying that this combination of spiritualism and espionage
Okay.
is something rare in a thriller.
Mm-hmm.
And they are impressed by the way it is written.
Okay.
So obviously the message is clear.
Mm-hmm.
They find it worth reading
Right.
because it combines spiritualism
Mm-hmm.
with espionage,
Right. Right.
unlike normal espionage thriller.
Mm-hmm. Right. So, how do you approach writing? Is it discipline or inspiration or a mix?
I would say it's a mix of both.
Okay.
Sorry, there has to be an inspiration first
Okay.
to start writing, as I told you about how I started writing.
Right. Right.
So once a plot takes shape in the mind
Right.
and you decide to put it on paper,
Mm-hmm.
that calls for a lot of discipline.
Mm-hmm.
You see, there has to be certain hours of the day you have to allocate for writing.
Mm-hmm.
And then you do a lot of research and
Right.
that's
Right.
how the writing process goes on.
Yeah.
So both discipline is very essential and inspiration, of course, is a prerequisite.
Okay. Okay. Right. So after you wrote Monk, then you wrote two sequels. So what challenges did you face while writing the sequels?
I don't think there were any challenges per se,
Okay.
but bad throat.
No, no
But
worries.
but as I said, it requires immense research. Now the first book was the protagonist tackles terrorism emanating from Pakistan. So he travels to Pakistan.
Okay.
So obviously, what is the geography of Pakistan?
Right. Right.
How do ISI and their army function?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
In the second book, he tackles global terror attack
Okay. Okay.
by confronting the IS in Syria.
Mm-hmm.
So he travels to Syria. Then there are terror attacks in Egypt, Paris, Belgium, various countries,
Okay.
Germany. So obviously, it requires research.
Mm-hmm.
You
Right.
can't just say describe Germany or Belgium
Yeah, a lot
as
of
a figment
research
of your
must have gone.
imagination.
Yeah. Right. Right.
Now, here in this book, he travels to China, to
Mm-hmm.
USA. He has been lodged in the Guantanamo Bay
Okay.
as a terrorist, for that matter.
Okay. Okay.
So again, research is required. How does this happen? Where is the airport in Beijing? How far it is located from his hotel?
Okay. Okay.
How does one go from there to the Great Wall of China,
Mm-hmm.
to the Forbidden City? What is the significance of Forbidden City? What is the significant political and economic importance of Wuhan, from where the virus originated?
Okay. So much research you had to do. तो कितना time लगा आपको for each book?
I started writing The Game Changer Monk in January 23.
Okay.
I was in Goa that time. My wife had undergone brain surgery.
Oh, acha.
And my son and daughter-in-law were in Goa that time. So we came and
Okay.
stayed with them for about 2.5 months.
Mm-hmm.
February 26th, we returned to Bombay. By then,
Okay.
I had written 40,000 words.
Okay.
And I thought I will write further in Bombay.
Okay. Okay.
But then her treatment and all those problems continued.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Finally, she passed away in September.
Right.
And
Right.
then I relocated to Goa.
Acha.
So initial about 5-6 months, so I was I came, but finding it difficult to come to terms with my loss.
Yeah. I can
Finally, in
understand.
August, I resumed further
Mm-hmm.
writing.
Mm-hmm.
And by October end, the entire 70,000 words were ready. So I would say 5 months it took me to write
Okay.
the book.
Okay. Okay. So, according to you, what exactly does game changer mean?
See, the protagonist has renounced the world.
Okay. Okay.
He's practicing Buddhism in a monastery in the Himalayas.
Mm-hmm.
There is this outbreak of COVID-19,
Mm-hmm.
and the government calls him
Okay.
because of his background in tackling difficult situations. They call him
Mm-hmm. Right.
and request him to unravel the mystery of COVID-19.
Mm-hmm.
He accepts the challenge. He travels to Mumbai, he travels to China, to USA.
Okay.
He faces a lot of hurdles,
Okay. Okay.
problems.
Mm-hmm.
He was incarcerated in Beijing for
Mm-hmm.
some days. Then he was locked up in Guantanamo Bay.
Okay.
Finally, he comes back and reports his findings to the top echelons of the government.
Mm-hmm.
And they realize that this indeed changes the rules of the game.
Okay. Okay. Right. So, tell me something. आपका इतना life experience है, you've got loads of life experiences. So, how has that influenced the spiritual theme in your books?
I was about a year old,
Okay.
and this was Mahashivratri day.
Mm-hmm.
I was suffering from typhoid,
Acha,
but the
acha.
entire family had gone to Trambakeshwar,
Okay. Okay.
and I was left in charge of half a dozen servants we had.
Mm-hmm.
And there was this caretaker, a teenager, Veni.
Acha, acha.
She gave me my medicines and put me to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
After some time, she thought that I had stopped breathing.
Acha.
So with another maid, an elderly one, Chimney, they both carried me to a nearby Sai Baba temple.
Acha, acha.
And she placed me at the feet of the deity
Mm-hmm.
and prayed.
Mm-hmm.
And few moments later, my eyes fluttered.
Mm-hmm.
So she said, "This is a miracle.
Yeah, actually.
Sai has brought me back to life."
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, this incident was narrated to me by Chimney when I was 7 or 8 years old.
Okay, okay.
Until then, I wasn't aware of it.
Mm-hmm.
And since then, I have become an ardent devotee of Sai.
Acha.
And obviously, all my actions, including writing, are inclined towards spiritualism.
Okay, okay. Okay. So, एक बात बताइए, like, what advice would you give to someone who's searching purpose in life, because you're an ardent follower of Sai Baba and you've seen so many hardships and ups and downs in your life. So, आपका advice क्या होगा?
I am reminded of this poem of Lord Tennyson.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me not in mournful numbers, life is but an empty dream. For the soul is dead that slumbers, and things are not what they seem. Life is real, life is earnest, and the grave is not thy goal.
Right.
Dust thou art, to dust returneth, was not spoken of the soul. So I would say one must have a goal in life.
Right.
And as Swami Vivekananda said, arise, awake, and rest not until your goal is
The
achieved.
goal is achieved, right? So, coming back to your travel and your wildlife, you've visited so many places. So, which place or country has left a deep impact on your personality or on yourself per se?
Yeah, there's something new to learn wherever you go.
Okay,
And
okay.
I've traveled widely,
Mm-hmm.
and you come across different cultures, different cuisines, different languages, different lifestyles,
Mm.
so many enchanting sights. But in July 24, I had gone to Bhutan,
Okay.
a very clean country,
Mm-hmm.
surrounded by mountains, lot of
Okay.
greenery,
Mm-hmm.
waterfalls,
Mm.
and the people there. The Bhutanese are extremely courteous and polite.
Okay.
The other thing about Bhutan is that there are no signals on the road.
Acha.
If anybody wants to cross from one side to the other,
Mm-hmm.
just go to the zebra crossing, stand there, and vehicles from both sides will all come to a halt automatically
Acha.
and allow the pedestrian to go across. There is something unique which I haven't seen anywhere else.
It's a dream in Delhi and NCR. वो तो आपको साथ में ले जाएंगे.
Then last month I was in Andaman.
Okay. That's a
And
beautiful place.
yeah, very nice place, beautiful islands, translucent waters of the sea. You can actually see the floor
Mm-hmm.
of the ocean. So on my return, there was this Andamanese girl beside me.
Mm-hmm.
I started chatting with her.
Mm.
Her grandfather had migrated from East Pakistan, erstwhile East Pakistan, now Bangladesh,
Okay, okay.
during the 1947 partition.
Right.
Her parents were born there. She
Mhm.
also obviously was born
Mhm.
there.
Mm.
So my next book that I'm writing is The Exasperated Monk.
Acha.
And the one after that will be Reincarnation of the Monk,
Okay, okay.
which will be based in 2050 with Goa as backdrop.
Okay, okay.
Now, while I was talking to her, and even during my visit to Vietnam,
Mm-hmm.
I thought, why not have something about Vietnam, sorry, not Vietnam, Andaman
Okay.
in the book.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought I'll show a murder taking place in Andaman.
Acha.
So I asked this
Okay.
girl
Mm-hmm.
about crimes in Andaman.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, zero crime. Rape, murder, no way.
Okay.
There's absolutely no crime whatsoever. She said there are no complaints in any police station.
So it'll be very difficult to write about that.
So I won't write a crime in Andaman, obviously.
Okay, yeah. It's
After
a
this,
beautiful, huh? It's a beautiful place. In fact, we'd gone
beautiful.
there, and there was an island only I think defense officers can go because it's not open for the civilians. So it was so beautiful. You could just walk on the water, and you could see the starfish and everything floating. So it's a
Yeah,
beautiful.
correct.
It's a beautiful place.
Yeah, Ross Island.
Yeah.
Ross
Right.
Island.
Right. Forgotten the name. Right. तो बहुत ही सुंदर जगह है.
Yeah, I was there last month, so it's fresh in the
Okay.
memory.
Right. So tell me something like books का हो गया, travel का हो गया. So we like हम लोग सब pets रखते हैं अपने घर में, and dogs are the most loyal. And I think you also have pets. Dogs are there with you. I think मैंने थोड़ा कहीं पढ़ा था.
I
So
have been exposed to them since my birth.
yeah. So how dealing like I mean like they're so innocent and loyal. So pets ke bare mein, like what is your this thing? I mean, how have they influenced your life because they're so
immensely.
loyal.
I will tell you,
Right.
immensely. Dogs actually teach us love and compassion.
Yes, they do.
In fact, I walk every day in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
The other day, last week only for that matter, while I was walking,
Mm-hmm.
there was this dog in a house, not least, it started barking at me
Acha.
when I was passing through that house,
Mm-hmm.
and then came out
Mm-hmm.
to ferociously, so to say. There was this lady coming from the other side.
Mm-hmm.
She was smiling at me, and she said, "Don't worry, he won't bite you.
Mm-hmm.
His name is Tiger."
Okay.
I said, "What, you live here?" He said, "No, I am the neighbor."
Mm-hmm.
So we chatted briefly. That dog also, Tiger also came there, stood there. She
Mm-hmm.
kept petting him.
Mm-hmm.
Next day, during my walk again, from inside the house, he started barking as I was going through.
Okay. Okay.
I said, "Hey, Tiger, aren't we supposed to be friends?" He stopped barking abruptly, and the tail started wagging.
They understand the language of
Quite,
love.
they have sixth sense, they're quite an intelligent animal.
Mm-hmm.
And they want only love.
Yeah, they can sense a person who's scared, a person who's genuinely they love them, and a person
Yeah,
who waits. And they can sense everything.
yeah. So I think love, compassion, loyalty, one can only
Mm-hmm.
learn from the canine friends.
Actually, you're true about that. So, आपके according, what is a perfect day in your life? How do you start your day? What's a perfect day in your life?
I I walk every day. About
Mm-hmm.
12 kilometers I walk. 8 in the morning, 4 in the evening.
Okay.
After a morning walk, I come back, have breakfast, shower, and then
Mm-hmm.
sit down to write.
Mm-hmm.
10 to 1, I write.
Mm-hmm.
It's a fixed time. Then at 1, I see the news, his news, whatever is happening.
Right.
Excuse me. And then lunch, take a short nap,
Mm-hmm.
and then get up, have my coffee, and again go for a walk. Come back, have my shower. And then at 7 sharp, I open my bottle of Old Monk
Okay.
and sit in front of the TV watching Bollywood classics of old of 50s and 60s,
Okay.
ghazals, qawwalis, whatever.
Mm. Okay.
10:30, I'm in bed.
Right. So, आपने जैसे your stories have really left a deep impact on the readers. But आजकल देखा है कि readers ना कुछ भी लिखते हैं मतलब some write really inspiring stories and some just write because they want to write. So what advice would you give to readers who want to write some meaningful stories? How could they go about it?
It requires a lot of reading, actually.
Okay.
In fact, I had read ABC of Relativity by
Okay.
Albert Einstein when I was 13 years old.
Okay.
So I have read fiction, non-fiction since that age, for that matter. I keep reading even now.
Yeah.
And that gives one an idea as to how to go about your writing.
Okay.
And in 1984, after my stint at JCI India as the Secretary General, I was the president of Green Park JCs
Acha.
in Delhi. And the president of Bilaspur JCs in MP, now Chhattisgarh, was known to me.
Okay.
They had sponsored a new chapter, Bilaspur Yugal JCs. And they wanted Khushwant Singh as the chief guest
Acha.
at the inauguration. So he asked me if I could help him. I knew Khushwant Singh. I used to meet him at his Sujan Singh Park house quite often in the evenings, share a drink with him. So I went to him. It was an evening function, so obviously overnight stay was required. So he said, "Yeah, I'll come, but I have one condition. I need scotch in the evening." I said, "Yeah, not to worry. The host president is quite resourceful. On the appointed day, we took a flight from Delhi to Raipur.
Okay.
Raipur to Bilaspur was a 2-hour road journey.
Okay.
So a few moments after we were airborne, the air hostess came to him and said, "Sir, the pilot wants to see you in the cockpit."
Mm-hmm.
So he went there, and the pilot was also a Sardar.
Okay.
He must have seen the manifest that Khushwant Singh is traveling on his flight. So he invited him in the cockpit. After some time, Khushwant Singh came back with 2 styrofoam cups, handed me one, took his seat and said, "Enjoy your drink, courtesy the captain." Now, he was editor of Illustrated Weekly for many years. He used to contribute articles in Hindustan Times with malice towards none and all.
Illustrated Weekly, I think Calcutta में आती थी.
Bombay.
Illustrated
Weekly, Bombay.
अच्छा. Because I used to read that magazine.
He had written many books also. So I just asked him, "Khushwant ji, I would like to be a writer like you. How do I go about doing it?" He said, "What's the problem? Start writing and don't stop drinking." Now, I won't advise anybody to drink.
Right.
But if one wants to write and has accumulated the kind of knowledge that is required to write, just start writing. What's stopping you from doing it?
Right. And Akshay ji, aapka, like, you've got a diverse career. You've been associated with publications like Time and Fortune and Economist, and you've been Secretary General, and you've also served as CEO and Press Club of India. Itna diverse career hai. So what advice would you give to young professionals so that they can inculcate a diverse career as yours?
Yeah, one thing I must clarify, Press Club is a membership.
Yeah.
There's no official that I had right there.
Right.
I was purely a member of the Press Club, being associated with media. Now, in 1980, I was president of Marine Lines JCs in Bombay.
Okay.
Pal Asgem, who was the JCs International Vice President that year,
right.
He visited. India was under his charge.
Okay.
And he was from Norway. He came there. That evening, there were about 40 chapters in Bombay that time.
Okay.
And all the chapters had organized a joint function to felicitate the visiting official.
Okay.
During his keynote address, Pal started saying, he said that, look, each of us have 4 responsibilities.
Okay.
Family, business, social, and as a member of this organization towards the movement. He said, but when you are involved in the activities of JCs, you must give your 100% to it.
Okay.
When you are with your family, 100% to the family.
Right.
Similarly, if anybody wants to get into any activity, just concentrate 100% in that activity. You're bound to succeed.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what legacy do you hope to leave behind through your writings and your books? I mean, books are a treasure. So, and your books are really very inspiring.
The Fountainhead, written by Ayn Rand. This manuscript was rejected by 19 publishers.
Okay.
Until it finally found the light of day. It was published in 1940.
Okay.
And continues to sell, has sold millions of copies and continues to sell even today.
Okay.
Ayn Rand is no more. But her books, The Fountainhead and Atlas Shrugged, are still selling. This is a legacy she has left behind.
Yes, definitely.
Seattle chief of the Duwamish tribe had once said that take nothing but memories with you.
Right.
Leave nothing but footprints behind. So I won't be around for long,
Mm-hmm.
but my books will remain here. And there's a lesson in every book for that matter.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope that could be the legacy behind.
Yes, yes, definitely. So one last question, like as a parting question, what can you just share a few thoughts about Zena family and
About,
about Zena family,
come again,
Zena family, Zenaverse, like we
Zena
in India,
family,
yeah,
Zena family.
Ji Ji.
When I got this offer from Rajiv,
Mm-hmm.
my first question was, frankly, any payment involved? He said, no, not at all. I said, okay, I'm game. And then he put me in touch with you.
Right, right.
And since then, you have come through quite diligent and sincere,
Thank you.
really. And even this person who is assisting you in recording this, it is obviously shows how efficient you people are.
Thank you so much.
You deserve it.
Thank you. Thank you. So it was lovely to have you on our show, and I hope we connect for another round of interview once the other two books of yours are out.
Sure, sure. Anytime. I would love
Lovely
to.
having you. Thank you.
Same here. Thank you.
Thank you.